Yeah, but it should be wide.
Good evening, all. We will make a start. We also have some tech issues today, so we think that the live stream can hear us but not see us. And you'll see from the microphones that all of them are on. So you're going to have to speak really loudly and see how we proceed.
You can see us, Chair.
They can see us now. Good. Okay. So we do have a fairly short agenda tonight. Originally, we were looking at the local plan. The Director of Planning has stated that he's unable to attend tonight, and due to the lack of officers who are currently going through recruitment, they're not in a position to discuss anything to do with the local plan until meeting after next, I believe. So we've got the Thames Water actions as the primary one, and anything else we want to cover on the work programme. So we'll start with apologies for absence. I believe we've got two.
Yes, Chair, an apology for absence has been received from Councillor Rose Llewellyn and Councillor Jane Warner Barry is deputising, and from Councillor Dan Adams and Councillor VJ Munro is deputising.
Thank you. Other than that, I think we have a full house, so thank you. So moving on to declarations of interest, some members have reminded at the start of the meeting that if there's any personal interest that they need to declare, please do so. Either declare now or when we talk about the item and you realise there is something to declare. Do any members wish to make a declaration now? No. Minutes of the last meeting. So pages 5 to 6 in the agenda pack. Are we satisfied that they are a true and accurate account of the meeting? All those in favour? Thank you. So we've now got public question time. We have one member of the public, but he's very engrossed in Paw Patrol at the moment, so he's not going to be asking any questions as far as I'm aware. I don't think there's any written submissions from the public either, committee services?
No, Chair.
Okay, so we will move on to item 5, report of the Thames Water Tasking Initiative. So we had 2 evenings of Thames Water facing a grilling from our good selves. I think it was about 7 hours collectively, and we covered an awful lot of ground. Before Christmas, we had a group of the committee got back together and reviewed the minutes and notes of those sessions to come up with a series of actions and recommendations, which is what's before us tonight as a decision. The expectation is that if you are satisfied that this is a good set to approve, committee services will then follow up anything that remains to be outstanding directly with Thames Water and the council. So all the details are on the agenda pack. I don't think I need to go through any further because my expectation is that you have all read things. Do any members have any questions on what is in there, or do they believe that there should be further information sought or further actions or outcomes covered off in a way that hasn't been so far? Councillor Sumner.
Thank you, Chair. It was just a really quick one. So obviously we've got the actions, but actually we haven't seen any of the actions in practice as yet. Yep. So liaising with all members of the council, as far as I'm aware, that hasn't been done. I haven't had any updates, and it's February now. So that's my only comment, really, that we would like to see those actions take place.
Yeah. Councillor Shelley?
On the same lines as Councillor Sumner, I think it would be useful to seek some dates for these outcomes, or approximate dates for these outcomes from Thames Water, so that they can be revisited and therefore we can check whether or not they've been done. So as you said, they haven't been done yet. Maybe it's not possible for them to be done in that time frame. So if we could seek to liaise with Thames Water about the time frames, I think that would be very useful to us to then revisit at some point to see whether or not anything's progressed.
Just before I move on to the next two members. Is this something for committee services where we could have this as a standing item at the end of the agenda to keep a track of where we stand on these actions and whether we've heard updates or not? Is that something that would be supportive, or would you rather have it once a quarter? I'd hope they kind of address them quicker than that. So I'm going to say standing item. That's part of the work program.
Yeah, I prefer standing item, I think.
Okay, we've got Councillor Davis and Councillor Manway.
So for me, obviously it's disappointing that it was 6 weeks between the meeting and the working group, and then we've had another 2 or 3 months since then, and I don't think we've particularly heard from Thames Water. I think 3A is the key one, really, in that the mechanisms for councillors to raise public questions directly with it. I think that would solve many of the other ones. So as an ongoing basis, and I think that's something that they could definitely resolve to provide, basically. So it's definitely actionable without too much work from them, I think.
Sunray?
Just to support Thames Water, more councillors in Blunsdon and Highworth. We received emails from them about the water bust in Blunsdon, A419, I think 8-inch main, explaining what they're doing, and they're supplying water, all that. So we have been getting emails from them over the last couple of days.
Good. Particularly on the communication and instant response points, there are some new things in there for Thames Water to take note of. They are aware of these already, so it's a shame they haven't been completed. But this is our thermal nature of those to say this is our deadlines, this is what we want to see achieved moving forward from them as a company. Anything else on members?
Chair, could we put a sort of date? Because although we're putting these up for regular review, it might make sense to sort of ask if they could get back on all the items by, I don't know, the end of April at the latest or something like that, so that we have a time frame, because otherwise we could be just revisiting them every month.
Yeah. And
they may make lots of progress or virtually none, we don't know. Does that make sense?
It certainly does. I think it's safe for the committee to come up with the firm recommendations on it. I'm quite happy to support on that basis. So for committee services to note that, if we're happy that when they follow up tomorrow morning, that's front and centre, so that it is a smart target for them. Councillor Shelley?
So I think we possibly need to ask them when, for each of these headings, when we expect the outcome to be, so that we can then put in some catch-up points. So we're saying to say whether or not they've met the target dates. And I think if it's a standing item, then obviously we will be able to do it. I think, are you suggesting a date on which we invite them back to the committee?
No, I'm suggesting a date by which all the items will have been addressed. And one would hope they'd come back with some dates as on an ongoing basis as to how they'll be addressing them in the meantime.
I think when it comes to May and new civic year, we can see what progress is. It's 3 months away, and we can always invite them back if not enough progress has been made. But we don't need to be overly bureaucratic because there are plenty of other things for us to look at.
Exactly, I think that's makes sense to me. Thank you.
So for the key part of the year, this is what we will focus on as a committee. I don't see any other comments. No, are we happy to accept these as recommendations for committee services to follow up with those points around deadlines and standing item?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All those in favour, please. Thank you. Item 6 is the work programme for the remainder of the year. Are members happy as it stands? Would you like to see any adjustments?
Yeah. So can I check where it says reserve on the 1st of April? Is that going ahead with those items?
As it stands, this was one of the 2 spare meetings that were in people's calendars that we were going to use if we needed to currently we do have agenda items for those days. So yes, we were looking at the 1st of April as the next one, which is the date when officers believe it talk to us about the local plan. And if I remember, it was Councillor Wilson's point, housing associations with the council as the other part of the topic. The 28th currently only has the annual report of the Armed Forces Champion and periodic reports on policy and scrutiny committees. So that might be something we want to either keep as a short meeting or see if there is another topic to add to it, because again, that could be over in a fairly short time. So if members have any suggestions for maybe that 28th, if you could let myself and committee services know by what, 1st of April before the meeting, give us sufficient time to talk it through. Officers have been very clear that if the committee doesn't agree an item for work programme, it can't just be added. So we can't just come up with a different item knowing that the local plan was unavailable today and replace it with something else. Well, committee first agreeing it. So as long as we have a good time, then that's fine. So let's try and get something for the next meeting and we can talk about it then. But you're still quite happy with local plan housing associations?
Yeah.
Then we're going to try and invite housing associations to that.
Yes. If there are any in particular that you want to, or any issues that you want to cover, again, make sure they are followed up as swiftly as possible, ideally in the next week. Councillor Wilson.
Yeah, just should I forward the details to Vicky or something?
Please.
All right, yeah, some suggestions of
Absolutely.
housing associations. Okay, thanks.
Other than that, are members happy to note?
Yes.
Yep. Thank you very much. Item 9 is 7 is status of request for action and information, which I think is just for noting as it sounds, which is appendix 1. There are a number of things standing, but they are with the policy committees. There's nothing else to add on that. Again, it is to note. So if there's anything to be said on those that we note the status of those.
Happy to note.
And also, thank you very much for coming into council. That is our quickest meeting of the last 2 years, I should say, in just about 16